Coach, fire away. We don't have mics today, so everyone start.
Matt, you've talked so much in the preseason about the reason for this schedule. Have you gotten out of it what you hoped to?
Boy, it was hard, really hard. Again, we met as a team. So, again, we've talked about this. Like, some of it was contractual obligations to return back. So we had to go back to Purdue. We had to go back to South Dakota. We actually had to go to Wichita, and we owed Creighton, but I could have pushed that off a year, but that ended up being the tournament to go to. So that didn't give me a lot of wiggle room. But then, the first serve tournament, absolutely would do that all over again. Going to Madison, I would do it all over again. So it's just really difficult. Maybe the one, that was the hardest was playing South Florida in the morning and then Creighton again. But that South Florida match we really wanted, and it was hard to turn that down. I think they'll end up being a top 50 RPI win, so I think that was important for us. It obviously, we looked pretty tired in that last Creighton match, which is very understandable. But I thought we did a lot of good things against South Florida team, and they came after us. So, yes, what did we learn? I think we learned a ton. I think we learned how to fight. I think we learned how to, have some adversity and work through that. To be in all those 5-set matches against some really good teams and, in hostile environments, I thought was very impressive. We had 3 straight matches there where we were in front of like 11,000 people or whatever that was early on. And, I think all those things are first for this group. And so you got to go out there and you got to put yourself on the road in this, in this situation and go get in all those and see what you're made out of. And I think we learned that we're pretty tough. Like, we weren't early, but I think by the end we were pretty tough. I think at the Purdue match, I thought we were really bothered by the crowd. And then we had 3 away matches after that. And I feel like even Creighton at the end, like, our serving was good. Like, we didn't seem bothered by that student section again like we did in Purdue. And that's going to be important for us in the conference season and playoffs. So I think there's just a lot of little things. Again, we didn't know each other very well. Well, when you're on the road for 5 weeks with each other, you learn who you are. So I think we got to know each other, which was great. Our defense is pretty good. We can serve and pass. Our offense isn't good enough. That's another thing we learned too. So now we got to figure out, how are we going to put that together? What can we do differently? Probably the hardest piece, though, was, other than not sleeping in your own bed, was just the lack of practice time. So we only had one stretch where we had back-to-back practices. So that means there's only one day of practice where we could really work on something, because the rest you're just trying to get reps together, get ready for the game. So I think, even just this morning, we could actually break down, go multiple courts and work on things. And I think that's, really important. That's what we need right now. So I just think we learned a ton. And again, for sure we'd like to win some of those 5-setters, but we weren't ready to do that yet. And hopefully by the end we will be.
From a morale standpoint, I guess, where do you think people are now, and what was it like kind of keeping them together through some of those challenging matches you made?
I think the team and the staff are very tired. But I got a text message last night from a couple of people asking for extra reps today at practice. So maybe we're okay. I think that's a really good sign. I think there's disappointment, but there's also excitement. Because, again, even in the Creighton match, which is easily the worst we've been, there's a couple deucets, and, we have chances, in that environment too. So I think there's a lot of excitement. I think for sure our bodies are tired, but also ready for now what the schedule will bring moving forward, which is a lot more consistency and no more back-to-back matches and things like that. So there's definitely a light at the end of the tunnel from that piece. And after next weekend, we're halfway through our matches, which is pretty crazy how they were bunched in. But I thought practice today was really good. And, again, I think we're looking forward to playing at Horsch.
Do you feel pretty good about where your rotations are and how the pieces have sort of fallen in and you are who you are now? Do you feel like you've solved that part of it at least?
No. I think we've learned that certain hitters and certain setters work better together. I think we've learned, we can really pass and we can control the ball, which is huge. Again, I think so now it's, how do we use the setter and hitters, most effectively? Dalton and Chris have both had great moments. A bunch of different hitters have had great moments. And it really has taken everybody to get through that non-conference. And so I think that was really a blessing of our depth, that we could do that as well as we did and be healthy, other than Burns, obviously, which really stinks. But everybody else, I think, feels pretty good at this point.
She's done, right? For the year.
Yeah, she's done for the season. Yep, and she's a big deal to us, but she's around still. And now that we're around, we'll actually be together. But, her leadership will still be really important, even though she can't be on the court.
How important was it for you to string some games together, some wins together in the middle of that non-conference, just to give you some confidence between all those matchups?
Oh, so important. The 3 3 5-setters in a row that we lost, like at the end of that, you're like, okay, like this is getting old. But I think it was 4 5-setters in a row to start the season. I mean, that was again, it was a grind. I don't normally like that word, but it's definitely what it felt like. But no, I think we needed some really positive affirmation. So getting some wins, I think, was important. And again, I think you're going to find we had 4 or 5 top 50 wins, RPI wise by the end of the year. So I think there were some real quality wins there against some good teams. And I think we just started to find ourselves and found a better rhythm and got through that. And so I'm proud of us the last couple of weeks of what we've been doing. I think, we're going in the right direction.
Coach, do you trust the process enough when it comes to postseason seeding and home court advantage that it's not just about one-loss record?
Definitely. I mean, especially my first year here with this group, like it's so much about building a culture and so many things other than just the win-loss piece. And I know everybody, that's what most people are going to care about and judge you by, and that's fine. They get to do that, and thanks for paying attention. But for me, like, I think my experience shows that it starts from the ground up. You got to build it up, And so, again, I think we've had a great buy-in from the team. Even though our record's 9-5, again, if we continue to get better, I think we're still hosting the first 2 rounds. I think our RPI is going to be really solid. Again, this will probably end up being a top 5 RPI schedule, strength of schedule. And again, there's quality wins in there, and the conference is so good right now that there's a lot of quality wins on the table still to come. So I think we're in a really good spot. And again, I think at the end you could see how this, if it works the way I hope it worked, that it all came together. So.
Maybe an obvious question, but what can it do for your team to finally get to play in front of the home crowd?
I don't know. I'm excited. I think the crowd's excited. I think they're ready, chomping at the bit. The amount of people that have reached out to me, really ready for this. And I don't think there's many tickets available to anything. And I think the team's pumped. Again, I think just the energy this morning, it felt like, felt a lot of good vibes. And, I think they're really wanting to play well in front of the home crowd. So, I mean, we've been in a lot of away gyms, and I know how those teams felt. So I'm sure hoping we get the benefit of that in our home space. So.
How connected do you feel with this group, them understanding you and you kind of getting the chemistry among the girls as well on, what you feel in preseason as opposed to what you felt after playing 14 times?
I think we definitely understand each other better. As far as why I've been pushing them as hard as I've been pushing them, because again, when you get in those moments, when you're playing in front of 11,000 people and you're on a national TV game, you want to do well, right? I mean, you're the ones out there. You don't want to be embarrassed. You want to make sure you're presenting yourself in the way that you want to. You want to be able to represent Kansas the way you want to. And so I think I've been pushing them since I got the job to take everything to another level from what this group is used to. So. And I think, again, it almost paid off in some of those matches, but I think they still held their head high. Like, I mean, I think they felt pretty good about, the product that they're putting on the floor and what they're doing. And I think most importantly, they see themselves getting better. Individually, they can see a lot of growth. I think as a team, they're enjoying playing together. They're starting to find some rhythm together, and I think they enjoy being around each other. So I think they're probably tired of my voice, I think we had a lot of time together, but they're still listening, which is great. And like I said, just being able to come in and get extra reps together or when to watch film together, things like that, that's a really good sign.
Is yours the voice that they typically hear? Bill Self at practice, it's Bill. Coach Lee has other coaches that make the most noise. Are you the voice that they do hear the most?
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm OCD in any other part of my life except for this, like in the gym. I'm really particular about what I want to see and what we're doing. So I'm pretty on top of it. I have to do a good job to back away sometimes and let other people have a chance to speak and for them to hear somebody else. So, and we have a great staff, so it's great for me because I can trust them more and more. But at least at this point, when you're really trying to lay groundwork and you're wanting things to be done exactly how you want it to be done before they know exactly what that is, I feel like I've had to be pretty aggressive with vocally, to get that there. So that's what I mean. They're probably tired of my voice, but I think it's been important.
You don't have to name everyone, so if the answer, if you just want to say no, that's fine. But anybody surprise you? Anybody that has played above their head to a level that maybe you didn't see coming?
Oh, I think in moments.
Sure.
I think Grace Nelson's had some great matches. Selena against Penn State was fantastic. I think Reese is really trending up. I think her connection, with the setters is getting better and better. She's starting to do some real great things. Giovanna, has just done some spectacular things. I think both setters, Dalton against Penn State was great. Best I've seen her play. and that was a really cool moment to see that. I was really happy for her. I think, go up and down the list. I mean, Aurora just had 11 blocks in a match. That was really, really impressive. So I think everybody's had moments. And Swanson's hitting 280 from the left, with 3.5 kills a set. Like, that's, if you would have told her that, she probably would have taken it, So a lot of good things. And again, the group is very tight and happy for each other. Again, having said all that, it's still not good enough. We're not consistent enough yet. And luckily we have practices to get better at it. But yeah, I think a lot of moments where it's been really exciting to watch.
I know the coaching staffs are different from when you were at Oregon. Danielle has been there for a couple of years.
Mhm.
Conference realignment has changed things, but does it help that, you were at Oregon and you've seen ASU recently and kind of know their makeup a little bit and maybe what you can expect Friday and into Sunday with Arizona?
Yeah, I mean, in the Pac-12, it's like you knew what the style of play was going to be from your opponents. Even without whoever the personnel was, you knew basically what you were getting into. Then we went to the Big Ten for one season, and that was a big learning curve, of what everybody would do. And then in the Big 12, there's a bunch of teams I've never played before. So, but ASU is one of them, and definitely one that we played a lot. Although it's a new coach as far as historically, he's been there a handful of years. But his style is really tough. It's unique. They play really fast and aggressive. Two of their better players right now played for me last year, so that'll be fun. I hope, in whatever term fun will be. But I am excited to watch them. They're playing great. But I do feel more familiar with Arizona State's style. And Matt Worley, our assistant coach, is from there, from that area. He was at Grand Canyon, and he's watched a lot of their play too. So it's about not so much what we know; it's about getting the players to be ready for it. So again, I'm excited to have the next couple of practices to try to get them prepared.
Since we're talking to Ryan Way today, how did you kind of first identify her as someone you wanted to bring to Oregon and then to here, and what does she provide in that regard?
Yeah, so Ryan was at Oregon State, and so we played Oregon State twice a year, and she would always kick our butt. So it's like our game plan would be don't hit the ball to left back because Ryan was there, and she would just kind of beat us up a little bit. So when she entered the portal, we wanted to have that conversation with her, and then she was going to go to Oregon, and then when we came here, she decided to come this way. So. I think it was important for us to get our first two contacts. Dalton hadn't had much experience setting, and so getting Chris to come, and then Burns had experience here, but just someone that I was comfortable with or knew, and so Ryan coming, and then I just thought that could be a great battle. And now with Burns being out, really important that we have Ryan. But I think she's, even settling in more and more. Her passing's getting better. She was always a great defender, but serve reception could improve, and it has. And again, she was voted captain with only being here a couple months in, which I think is pretty impressive. So she's been a great leader for us, and I'm happy she's a Jayhawk.
How many captains?
We have three.
You have three.
So Dalton, Chris, and Ryan. And there's a pretty big gap from the three of them to the next. So 2 setters in one captain group. I've never had that before either, I think, but it does make sense, yeah. That's a good sign, I think. You like your setters to be captains, yeah.